Hello there and welcome to PrimeTime, the show for the mature of years but young of heart and spirit. I'm Anne Bunn, and as you can see today, we've had a slight change of format because Matthew, my co-presenter, is actually being a guest on the sofa today.
Hi
and we'll find out a little later what he's been up to that he's going to tell us all about. My other guest today, I'm very pleased to see you here, is Karen Drake, who is the manager, that's correct, isn't it, of Weston Golf Club. And she's going to tell us all about the benefits of golfing for the over 55 age group. So Karen, lovely to see you. How would you recommend golf as a sport, an active pursuit for the over 55s?
Well, obviously golfing takes quite considerable time. It takes about 4 hours to play around.
Wow.
So ideal for the over 55 who is not working. And golfing traditionally is on an annual subscription fee. So clearly the more times you get a chance to play, the benefit of the subscription. So
absolutely
ideal for the over 50s.
Absolutely. And on a day like today, dreary and miserable day, are there many people out there on the links at the moment? Do you think? That's what I like.
Monday is traditionally the day for seniors competitions.
Oh, right.
So they all like to play. They're very serious about their golf, very competitive, and they like to play in all weathers.
Fantastic.
I'm sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the exercise involved is just walking, wasn't it? What was it? I can't remember who said that golf was a good walk sport.
Yes, I've heard that one.
You must have heard that one before. But it is. I mean, obviously, the walking element of it is really very good. It's not incredibly strenuous for people or anything, is
particularly with us at Weston, because we're relatively flat.
True, yes, of course.
So generally those that do struggle slightly are able to play that little bit longer.
Oh, that's good
in terms of their ailments, because we are less strenuous than some other courses.
Of course. And what kind of membership have you got, Karen? What numbers, for instance?
We have currently about 430 full-playing members.
That's excellent, yeah.
So there are fewer than we could manage. So we can always
that's good to hear.
Further members. And generally during the week time, there are very few occasions where the course is booked completely, so golfers can come and play at their leisure, really. Often there are times in the afternoon where it's almost millionaires golf.
Wow.
So they can come and play. There's no formal tee reservation system, so they can just pitch up and play and join their mates.
That's great to hear. Well, traditionally, or perhaps historically, in the past, I know women have been perhaps a little reluctant to join golf clubs because there have been, shall I say, restrictions on the times that ladies can actually play golf. Is that the case with Weston?
No, that's no longer the case.
Glad
ladies have full playing rights equal to the men.
Lovely.
And there is no secret of the fact that we could do with some more lady members.
Oh, right.
Golf has traditionally been male-dominated.
Indeed, yes.
And indeed, ladies are just as welcome. We have a very close-knit ladies section, and they get involved every week in competitions. We have lots of social events, and so you can make some good friends.
Well, that's good to hear. And are there are obviously fairly tight restrictions on dress code, for instance, and that kind of thing. And I would imagine, presumably, people can lend some clubs to actually start out before they go out and have the expense of purchasing a whole set of clubs for themselves?
Yes, we do have some clubs that we are able to loan to those, but you don't need to spend an enormous sum of money in the beginning. You just need a few basic clubs, really. And you can easily play around a golf with 4 or 5 clubs. You don't need
That's interesting to know.
I'm sure if you put golf clubs into eBay, you'd find quite
I'm sure you're absolutely right there. Yes, I'm sure you're quite right. Yes, absolutely. And can they can beginners get lessons easily at Weston?
Yes, we have an excellent team of pros. And they can easily either have some group sessions or they can have one-to-one lessons. We also have an indoor coaching studio where they can analyse the swing and show them where they're going wrong or what they're doing correctly. So, and yes, the pros are more than willing to take them out on the course and have playing lessons. So
And what about if someone has just started to play golf and maybe hasn't necessarily got anybody to actually play a round of golf with? Can you almost operate a buddying system? Oh,
yes.
fantastic.
Not a problem either.
That's really
and
good.
generally speaking, our senior section are a very friendly bunch, and there are a number of occasions through the week where they join up together as a small group.
Right.
So often that's the ideal way to begin, get to know some of the other members.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose the question I'd ask is, I mean, traditionally, you know, all people just talk about the 19th hole and all of that. And I mean, I think socialising has always been part of golf. But I imagine you have quite an extensive social programme as well, don't you?
Very much so, yes. We've got an excellent clubhouse, we've got a lovely bar, and we have lovely catering services. So
Wonderful.
we can use the clubhouse for all sorts of functions other than just predominantly golf. But there tends to be a big section that of a mixed section where men and ladies like to come and play golf and meet with other clubs from or other members from other clubs. They have a game of golf and then they have a meal afterwards. All very sociable.
Smashing.
Sounds brilliant. Sounds absolutely perfect. Well, at the end of the show, obviously, when the credits come up, all your contact details will be made available. So people hopefully will be rushing to get in touch with you, particularly the lady members that you're looking for. So that'd be really good.
That would be great.
Fantastic.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And now, Matthew, we want to hear what you've been up to, because I gather there's all sorts of exciting things happening in your life at the moment.
I don't know quite. Well, that's very kind of you. I mean, I think probably what I've never revealed on television and people don't know is that I'm a professional actor.
Absolutely.
What I've done on and off. I mean, I go white when I think about it because it's nearly 50 years now since I left drama school.
Wow.
But, and the week before last, I was rushed into a play. I got a very urgent email saying, "Help, actor wanted!"
Oh.
And I was rushed in at about 2.5 days' notice into a quite interesting new play written by a group of drama writers based around Bristol University.
Right.
Called Inkling Productions. And that was at the Hen and Chicken in Bedminster in Bristol, which is more usually known now as a comedy box rather than as a theatre venue, although it was originally a theatre venue. And then, while I was doing that, I suddenly had a phone call from a young man called Philip Perry saying, "Would you consider being in Timon of Athens?" Which is actually played by William Shakespeare. It's one of Shakespeare's last plays, and it now seems certain he wrote it in conjunction with another author, Thomas Middleton. So rather than
how interesting.
And it's an odd play, and it's not often done because, in a sense, it's not complete.
Right.
But I have to say, Philip has done a fantastic job of streamlining it through and just, you know, and above all, making it incredibly relevant.
Great.
It's got a Greek debt crisis in it.
Wonderful.
It's got a riot.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's got all of that kind of
Yes.
stuff. It's got leading politicians, one of which I am, taking huge bungs. Do you know?
It sounds
all
brilliant.
that stuff going on.
Sure.
It sounds, I mean, it's smack on the money. It's now, do you know?
Sounds absolutely perfect.
And, you know, given what's happening outside, heaven knows what will happen before we finish running it.
Absolutely.
But it opens on Tuesday, the 1st of November.
Right.
This probably may go out after it, I don't know. And it'll run through until Saturday the 5th.
Right.
With a matinee on the 3rd. And it's all in the crypt. It's an unusual space, and I don't think there's been a play in there before, of St Paul's Church on Coronation Road in Bedminster.
Very atmospheric. Sounds wonderful.
And it's extraordinary space, actually, I have to say, of big arches and pillars underneath and all painted white. And I think it'll be very atmospheric. And I think it's an extraordinary and very interesting play, really, in the end. And it's, you know, it was written after the death of Queen Elizabeth, when they've now entered the period of James I.
Right.
And it's all a different England, and everybody was a bit full of despair.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff about
It sounds definitely relevant at the moment. Yes,
and all
right.
that stuff.
Yeah, quite.
You know,
yeah.
and Timon is the man who just gives everybody everything they want all the time, and then discovers he's broke.
Right.
And he turns around to his friends and says, you know, could you give us some money? And they all say, get stuffed.
I have to say, having done a lot of Shakespeare at school, it is one that I know absolutely nothing about. So I can appreciate what you said. It's very rarely performed.
I think the Royal Shakespeare did one about 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
And actually, when I was in the RSC the last time, which was a long time ago, but that was in 1971, we were supposed to do a production of it. And I was one of the bailiffs, Varro, because there's lots of bailiffs in it as well. And,
Okay, yes.
Yeah, they all turned out demanding money. And actually it was being directed by Clifford Williams, and he had a very interesting idea of putting it in half masks. So, you know, because it's set in Greece and Athens.
Right, okay.
And I think all the younger actors went for that big time, because we'd all done mask work at drama school.
Yeah.
But the older fellows found that very hard. And there was a leading actors' revolt.
Oh, right.
And they went up to see Trev and said, we cannot do this. It will ruin our reputations. It will ruin your reputation. And it was cancelled. It was very...
Okay.
It's awful, really. Anyway, anything else you want?
So life is extremely busy for you at the moment. You're getting back into the real swing of thespianism.
Well, yes. And, and my wife and I have various other irons in the fire as well.
Absolutely. You're a dark horse.
Life is busy. It is. We run a funny little business from home and various things.
So you're absolutely a perfect example of what the over 55s can do if they put their mind to it.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. And I think people have all kinds of curious views about actors.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
But actually, my experience is a lot of actors have to be very adaptable.
Yes, quite.
Quite often extremely practical. And do try their hands at all kinds of things simply to earn a living.
Absolutely.
Particularly now. Yes. I mean, I'm the chairman of the local equity branch, Bristol West Equity Branch. And I was out of the trade for about 15 years for a number of reasons, which I won't go into here. But it is quite a shocking state, I think, especially in the provinces like here, because when I left drama school in 1965, at that stage, equity had concluded in the 1930s, for over 30 years, closed shop agreements with every employer in the industry.
Sure.
Well, in general terms, whenever you think about closed shop agreements, it really worked in that industry because it enabled people to negotiate contracts, wage rates, and all of those things. And then, of course, that was made illegal in the end of the 1980s. And really, the consequences of that now played right out in a disastrous situation, really, where lots of young actors just have to scratch about making their own companies. There's no repertory left anywhere in Britain.
Really? As bad as that?
Not a single repertory theatre.
That's really quite frightening.
It is. I mean, we all came out with direct.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Now, you've got a situation where young actors have to go and set up ad hoc companies for themselves and train themselves, which is difficult because there's hardly any of me around.
No, that's right, exactly.
People of my generation have either made it, big time made it, and, working up in London for lots of money, or they've disappeared. There are very few of me.
But in many ways, it's almost a reflection of exactly what's going on at the moment, because nobody now has a safe route into any kind of profession.
Oh, I agree.
Everybody has to be very adaptable, prepared to work for themselves, take any opportunity that comes along, and multitask in very many respects.
Indeed. Absolutely,
and that's the way the world is.
I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah, and for the over 55s as much as anybody else, because frankly, with retirement age moving further and further away.
That's right, and pensions.
We've got to keep going.
And all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And you need to find ways of being able to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But at the same time, have the balance in your life to be able to get out and have some enjoyments and physical exercise and find a way to unwind.
Anyway, if anybody wants to come and see Tyrant of Athens, as I said, it's at St Paul's Church in Coronation Road.
Fantastic. If I could drive, I would be there, but as I can't, can we access it any other way? Is there going to be a video or a DVD of it, perchance?
No, not
Oh, what a shame! What a shame!
I think they've all run out of money now.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably absolutely right.
Okay.
But never mind. And on that happy note, I think it's time you did some presenting work today, and perhaps you would like to leave us with a smile.
It's very nice of you to come and see us all again this week, and thank you for coming, and thank you for coming.
Indeed, Karen.
Thank you.
And thank me for coming.
Thank me as well.
And thank you for presenting it. And we'll see you next week, hopefully. Thank you. Bye-bye.